17th century Italy. A woman takes a vial off of her nightstand. It looks like makeup, but she poisons her husband with it. Thanks to Giulia Tofana, who helped women wanting out of their marriages kill over 600 men. 19th century Hungary, we have 70-year-old Felka Popov. She's like the CEO of the Murdering Husbands Factory. Convicted of aiding and abetting women in the poisoning of 100 plus husbands. 20th century America, no poison, no problem. Bette Davis won an Oscar for portraying a woman who asks her husband to get a divorce. He says no, she runs him over with a car. History has shown us if there's a woman and she has a will to leave her marriage, she will find a way. This is What the Fuck America. It's politics for cool people and culture for smart people. This made me wonder if the girls needed to pay a visit to Home Depot looking for an axe to grind. Not to kill anyone with, just to grind. Winds are picking up on lawmakers wanting to fuck with something called no-fault divorce. It is like one of the few things in America that is agreed upon by all 50 states. So naturally, we have to mess with it. Let me take you through my reasoning on why people will die if this happens. And there's levels to this shit. First level is I can imagine somebody being like, come on, these are just nobody's proposing this shit. It'll never affect you. Meet Oklahoma Senator Dusty Deavers. He won a special election, pulled up to the Oklahoma State House, and immaculately conceived of a no-fault divorce ban. Have you ever seen the term irreconcilable differences when a celebrity couple decides to split? If you haven't, you're about to with J-Lo and Ben Affleck. You heard it here first. But basically, no-fault divorces allow for incompatibility to be a legal reason why you can split. Without that, one party basically has to point the finger in blame at the other and prove with evidence in a court of law that they have been harmed or wronged in some way. And that's bad for people who just want to break up in peace and co-parent in peace, who, like each other, but not in that way. And getting rid of no-fault divorce causes a litany of other issues. It clogs up the court system, it's time-consuming, it's cost-prohibitive. Grounds for divorce are completely subjective. One judge might rule this way, another might rule that way on this case, and different than the next case that comes along. There's no way to, standardize those type of rulings. But above all, it traps people who are being abused, and yes, I am mostly talking about women, in dangerous situations that they're trying to get out of. Because who knows what type of retaliation is waiting for them behind closed doors if they make the move to ask for a divorce. Here's the kicker. States that instituted a no-fault divorce law saw a 30% decline in domestic violence over the 5 years after they instituted it, on average. And of course, the Doug Dimmadome over in Oklahoma is not the only one pushing for this. There's a guy in South Dakota who's proposed a ban on no-fault divorce 5 times in a state where 97% of divorces are filed under no-fault rules. And then you look at Texas and Nebraska, where the official Republican Party stance is that they want to get rid of it. Louisiana had it on the table, but had to send it back because one of the GOP lawmakers said, actually, I got a no-fault divorce, and I wouldn't have been able to get a divorce to my husband who turned out to be gay. So we could talk about that another time. After we establish that, we have level 2, where I hear somebody saying, come on, they're just talking about it. They're not actually going to do anything. The thing is, lawmakers like this truly, at their core, believe that divorce is a sin. Deavers wrote the most wild, out-of-pocket article I have ever read in my life, saying that people who get divorced should be seen as criminals and publicly shamed in their communities. So what some see as freedom for everybody, and again, I'm talking about women, others see as destruction of the sanctity of marriage. The big obvious one who supports that belief, Mike Johnson, our Speaker of the House. He himself is actually the member of a covenant marriage, which is a intense type of religious contract that basically makes divorce completely impossible. And it's even elevating as a subject in Trump's orbit. Multiple of his VP candidates support a ban on no-fault divorce. So I'm sitting here like, divorce is hitting 50-year lows. So this timing feels a little bit sus. And that's because sometimes opportunity knocks and sometimes it breaks down the fucking door. And nothing has proved that to be true more than the takedown of Roe v. Wade. Cultural conservatism is on the rebound, despite the fact that 81% of Americans find divorce to be morally acceptable. So yes, this is a fringe position, but the people who hold that fringe position are also the people who make a lot of laws. So then we get to level 3, where I expect somebody would say, oh, come on, normal people don't know about this. It's never gonna break through. And I'm like, you could not be more wrong if your life depended on it, because this has penetrated the conservative media space heavily. We have the Tim Pools, the Matt Walshes of the world, getting millions of views on this subject on YouTube. Let's take Steven Crowder, one of the most popular right-wing voices in America. He said, and I'll read this to you, his divorce was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And that's just completely permitted in Texas. And I'm like, oh my God. The only reason my wife and I are not together is because she gets to choose what she wants to do, is basically what he's saying. He feels defrauded and he talks about that often. And I'm like, maybe you should have signed a fucking prenup then. That's beside the point. If he had the legal standing to overrule her, does he expect that she's going to come back to their relationship and suddenly feel reinvigorated and recommitted when she's forced to be somewhere that she does not want to be? That's weirdo behavior, in my opinion. So the Crowders and the Andrew Tates of the world are constantly framing this as them being taken advantage of by empowered women. And I do just want to mention here that if you're coming from my Snapchat, you know that I am out here talking about toxic masculinity, redefining the roles that we want men to assume in this world, making space for men to talk about their emotions. So much so that my coworkers and my friends are like, you're a men's rights activist. And I'm like, please, let me just lead with that. Before I say, our gains are not your losses. We are reverting back to this belief that women are property, we are second-class decision makers, and we do not deserve our autonomy. This is about keeping women controlled. It's not about keeping women safe, and let me tell you why. Female suicide declined by 20% in states that instituted no-fault divorce. And no-fault divorce laws led to a decline in women being murdered by their partners. Being a woman is operating in a constant state of hypervigilance, a constant effort to avoid the fool me twice, shame on me, because we already did the fool me once, shame on you, when the Dobbs decision came down. Our rights and our freedom are all constantly being weighed against the rights and freedom of everybody else, whether that's men, whether that's fetuses, churches, corporations. So here's like a revolutionary thought. We shouldn't have to wait until we're in a life-threatening situation to have the agency to make our own choices and the permission to pursue happiness. But when the cat's out of the bag, it's impossible to put it back in. So I will be personally keeping an eye on Texas, where they have a trifecta. It's in the GOP platform that they want to get this done, and they have the ability to do so. This is one of many issues that we will be keeping an eye on over here on WTFA as the 2024 election ramps up. Make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and we'll see you next time.